Step onto a 1960s Main Street, and you'd feel the pulse of a small town humming, shop bells jingling, kids laughing over a shared milkshake, and the faint strum of a radio spilling from an open window. This wasn't just a place to shop, it was where neighbors swapped stories, where every storefront knew your name, and where life felt like a warm summer evening. If you strolled down that street today, you'd be stunned by what passed for normal. Some things charming, others downright wild. Let's wander back to a time of soda jerks, single-screen theaters, and penny candy dreams, and uncover 10 things that made Main Street America tick in the 1960s. Ready to be shocked? Picture a Saturday morning, the air thick with the scent of fresh coffee and warm asphalt. First up, five and dime stores stood as the heart of every Main Street. Woolworths or Kresge's welcomed you with creaky wooden floors and the buttery smell of popcorn from a cart by the door. You could grab a comic book, a spool of thread, or a stick of gum, all for pocket change. The cashier's smile came with a story about your mom's latest recipe. These were more than stores. They were community hubs lost to the rise of Walmarts by the 80s. Next door, the drugstore wasn't just for prescriptions. It housed a soda fountain, the coolest spot in town. Teens perched on chrome stools, sipping cherry cokes or slurping malted milkshakes. The soda jerk flipping scoops of real whipped cream with a grin. After school, it was where crushes bloomed over banana splits, the jukebox humming in the corner. Fast food chains and convenience stores stole their shine by the 70s, but no drive-through matches that sticky sweet charm. Out on the street, kids weren't just playing, they were working real jobs. A 12-year-old pedaled through dawn mist, tossing newspapers onto porches. High schoolers pumped gas at the station or stacked cans at the grocer's, earning quarters for a new baseball glove. It wasn't child labor, it was pride, a first taste of responsibility. Stricter laws and changing times faded this by the 80s, leaving kids to video games instead. Look both ways and you'd see a crossing guard. Not a cop, but a kid your age. Sixth graders in bright vests, armed with a badge and a whistle, proudly guided classmates across Main Street before school. They stood tall, directing bikes and foot traffic with the seriousness of a sheriff. By the 80s, adults took over, but those junior patrols were the unsung heroes of the 60s. You couldn't miss the haze of cigarette smoke curling through the air. Smoking was everywhere. Shopkeepers puffing behind counters, moms lighting up at the diner, even doctors endorsing brands in ads. Cigarettes lined shelves at every corner store, vending machines spitting packs for a quarter. Lighting up in a cafe or bank? No one blinked. Anti-smoking campaigns and bans in the 80s cleared the air. But in the 60s, that haze was Main Street's backdrop. Step past a shop window and you'd see real tradesmen at work. The cobbler stitched your worn-out loafers. The watchmaker hunched over tiny gears with a loop. These storefront artisans fixed what you broke, their tools clinking through open doors. The throwaway culture of the 80s and mass production sidelined them. But in the 60s, their craft gave Main Street its soul. The local movie theater, with its single screen and neon marquee, was a Main Street jewel. No multiplex chaos, just one film, Maybe a Hitchcock thriller or a Disney classic with a red curtain parting for magic. You'd clutch a quarter for popcorn and join the line snaking down the block for a hit. Multiplexes in the 80s dwarfed these gems, but nothing beats the cozy thrill of that lone screen. Window displays stopped you in your tracks. Department stores turned their vitrines into art. Mannequins in velvet dresses, toy trains chugging for Christmas. Kids pressed noses to the glass, dreaming of gifts they'd never afford. Every week brought a new scene, a story told in props. Online shopping and malls in the 90s dimmed this art, but in the 60s, those windows were Main Street's stage. From overhead, loudspeakers poured music onto the sidewalks. Sinatra's croon or the Supremes' snap giving the street its own heartbeat. Shopkeepers swept their stoops in rhythm, and passers-by hummed along, bags swinging. Towns wired these systems to boost the vibe, but by the 80s, costs and changing tastes turned them off, leaving Main Street quieter. And parking, free as the air. Pull up right in front of the bakery. No meter to feed, no app to fumble with. Main Street was built for people, not profit. Spaces wide open for neighbors to linger. Urban sprawl and paid parking in the 80s changed that. But in the 60s, your spot was always waiting. Main Street in the 1960s wasn't a museum piece. It was alive, messy, and deeply personal. Every jingle of a shop bell, every slurp of a milkshake, every wave to a familiar face made it home. Today's malls and apps are fast, but they lack that warmth, that hum of connection. What do you miss most? The sticky counter at the soda fountain? The glow of a theater marquee? Drop your Main Street memory in the comments. Let's rebuild that 60s street together. And if this video sparked a smile, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still tastes that cherry Coke or hears that jukebox tune. Some places are too good to forget.